He talks to me in 7-minute slices. Between buckling seatbelts and reminding someone to grab their water bottle. Like all our language now has to fit inside the safest parts of a day. Practice move to 6, he says, leaning into the SUV to click our daughter's chest clip. Your week has snacks. Got it, I say, and try to catch his eyes. He's already counting shin guards. 17 years married. 2 kids. One affair that I told myself was a phase and turned out to be a fault line. And now a new rule I never thought I'd live under: he will not talk to me unless the kids are there. And even then, only about them. It started the same way most cliches do: a work conference in Houston, a manager who praised my decks like they were art, a corner bar where everyone's lanyard looked like permission. I told myself it was validation, it was just oxygen to a fire I should have never lit. It lasted 3 months, mostly texts and 2 hotels. I kept a separate notes app with a lock code like I was 15. I stopped sleeping next to a man who bought sandpaper with confidence because he knew what grit a door frame needed. Ian found out the way good men find out, quietly. A bank alert, a toll tag charge, a screenshot on the family iPad I forgot to close. He didn't flip the table. He folded the laundry. Then he went to the garage, came back with a legal pad and a pen, and set down the first set of rules that would become our life. Communicate through our family wizard only, he said, writing while he talked. Emergencies are the exception. Define emergency as hospital. No private calls. No closed-door meetings. Exchanges curbside or at school only. If we speak, it's in public or in front of the kids, and it's about schedules. He tore the page neatly and slid it to me. There was a box at the bottom. I initialed like I was accepting a package with my own consequences inside. He moved into the guest room that night. The next morning, an email landed with the subject line temporary orders and standing order. He had retained counsel. The petition he filed was no fault. Insupportability, Texas's polite way of saying the center did not hold. Attached was the county's standing order: don't move the kids, don't drain accounts, don't harass, keep the utilities paid. He didn't paste my texts into the record. He didn't make me a villain on paper. He handed our collapse to the process like a fragile thing that needs boring boxes and bubble wrap. I tried to force a movie scene. I cornered him in the kitchen while the pasta water hissed and said everything I'd rehearsed in the shower. I'm sorry. It was a mistake. I'll do anything. Counseling. Transparency. You set the rules. I set them yesterday, he said, and stirred the pot. Communicate through the app. Can we at least talk? Just us? I asked. He turned off the burner and met my eyes with a politeness that made me feel 12. No, he said. Private is where our problems got dressed up. This stays public. Or in front of the kids, where we won't perform. It sounded cruel then. It sounds like discipline now. Our temporary parenting plan came back from the mediator 3 weeks later, and the clauses read like those laminated cards they keep in airplane seat backs: non-disparagement, right of first refusal, curbside exchanges, BIF communication preferred. We split weeks even odd. Exchanges at school when possible, otherwise, we stop in front of each other's houses and do the handoff on the sidewalk like neighbors with joint custody of a lawnmower. If one of us can't cover more than 8 hours, the other gets first shot before we call a sitter. No late-night door knocks. No surprise visits. No using the kids as messengers. Boring. Specific. Kind. I told myself he'd thaw. 21 days. A month. After the holidays. First day of school. There is no unit of time where a man decides to forget on a schedule, and I had to learn that the hard way. At first, he kept it so short I thought he was being robotic on purpose. Jenna needs black socks for band. Ben's inhaler refill is ready, I paid the copay. Please send the math workbook, page numbers attached. Then I learned about BIF. Brief, informative, friendly, firm. The co-parenting gold standard his lawyer mentioned and his therapist endorsed. He wasn't punishing me. He was protecting the kids from being the conduit for adult chaos. He was protecting himself from the version of me that wants to turn feelings into strategy. The one time I broke the rule. Texted at 11:04 p.m, can we talk tomorrow? Just us. His reply landed in the app at 7:12 a.m, please keep communications in OFW. Happy to discuss kid logistics at exchange. No anger. No essay. Just a gated path with one entrance. At soccer, I tried small talk. How's work? I asked, like the question could smuggle in a different life. Busy. Ben's cleats are tight, I'll get a half size up, he said, eyes on the field. Our daughter, Junie, sprinted down the sideline. Nice hustle, he shouted, then turned to me and said, snacks next week are oranges and water only. Coach's request. When I cried in my car after, he didn't notice. He was tying a new knot in our son's laces that would hold. I tried therapist-approved tricks, validation, ownership, requests, boundaries. I own what I did, I wrote in the app. I respect your boundaries. I would like to schedule 1 hour with a counselor for handoff issues and tone, just to make sure we're aligned for the kids. He replied, thank you. Our tone is fine. We can cover handoffs here, I'll take Tuesdays and Thursdays, you do Wednesdays. Weekends alternate. I'll arrive at exchanges at 25 after the hour to avoid driveway overlap with your parents. He signed it, like always, with just his name. Not, thanks. Not, best. Not, take care. Names are plenty when you're rebuilding a life on rules. On his weeks, he volunteers for band and shows up to every game and somehow knows about Spirit Day on Wednesdays when I didn't even see the email. The kids have developed new habits that don't involve me. They leave their sneakers at his house and their water bottles in his car. They text him screenshots of assignments I've already printed. At first it felt like a theft. Now it feels like evidence that they're safe in both places. He wins in the exact ways my pride hates, not with a clapback or a scorched earth speech, but with a consistency so relentless it starts to feel like weather. He answers the kids' questions with time and rights. He answers my questions with links to the school portal and receipts. He will not be in a room alone with me. In front of them, he's gentle and neutral. Outside of them, he's a fortress I don't get into anymore. When I tried to apologize in front of the kids. Stupid, yes, I know that now. He said, we don't put grown-up weight on little shoulders, and handed Ben the snack list as if redistributing paperwork is immoral. Ben nodded and asked if he could try goalie next week. The world did not pause for my lesson. There were logistics I didn't know I'd miss. The code for the garage door changed. The shared grocery app list we used to trade in little jokes went silent. He stopped texting me when the dog did something weird and started telling the kids, show mom the video at pickup. I tried to talk to his mother in the church parking lot. She hugged me and said, sweetheart, with the kind of broken sweetness that turns bones to gravel. Then she said, this is between you and my son. Not me. She is a good woman. Good women live by lines. My lawyer told me something I wrote down and keep in my wallet. Courts can enforce time and money, not feelings. The decree came back with math that will never make my heart happy and will always be fair. We each keep our retirements. I get the SUV, he gets the equity in the house, we split the 529s, we reimburse medical costs for the kids at 50/50ths within 14 days via the app. There is a line that says we won't engage in communications for the purpose of harassment or annoyance. I think about that line every time my thumbs itch to type at 10:37 p.m. and make my loneliness someone else's job. I do not get to be furious that he won't meet me at Starbucks to talk about closure. I turned private into the place where I lied. He turned public into the place where we parent. He will overcommunicate when a fever spikes and undercommunicate when I try to reminisce. He will talk to me while he's tying shoes or passing me a folder. He will not talk to me about us. Once, at Target, Junie dropped a bottle of shampoo and it exploded in the aisle like a pastel crime scene. I laughed because it was either that or cry, and Ian said, "Go grab paper towels, I've got her." While we cleaned, I got bold and asked, Do you hate me?" It came out quieter than I meant. He looked up, considered, and then glanced at our daughter narrating the mess like a sportscaster. "I don't talk about feelings with you unless the kids are around," he said, soft. Then he handed Junie the damp roll and said, "Teamwork, bug." He meant it both ways. I hate that I made witness a requirement for decency. I hate that I made our children the safest place for their father to stand. But I understand it. In front of them, he never has to wonder if he'll be recast as a monster for walking away or as a saint for staying. He gets to be the thing he is, steady. Friends ask if I think he's dating. I don't know. When a softball coach at the park touched his arm while laughing, my stomach did a stupid, old flip. He packed the team cooler, stayed late to stack cones, told our son, "Nice read," like he was already cheering the man he'll be someday, and then left with both kids without looking back to see if I was watching. That's the other way he wins. He doesn't make me an audience. The hardest day was Ben's 8th grade ceremony. The auditorium was hot. The principal said 1,000 names and every clap felt like a countdown to a life where we're not sitting on the same row anymore. When they handed Ben his folder, he looked for us first. He found his dad, then me. He lit up twice. After, Ian took a photo of the three of us. He sent it through the app, "For you." No caption about what could have been. Just pixels of a minute we did right. I want a neater ending. I want a grand gesture. I want one unguarded hour at a coffee shop where I cry in a way that makes a man change his mind. That belongs in the version of our life where I was honest when it mattered. This version has me setting alarms for Tuesday snacks and learning to not text after 9 p.m. And buying a small filing cabinet for forms and receipts because apparently adulthood is just a lot of recipes and documentation. It has me making the apology smaller and deeper, not a speech, a behavior. It has me telling the kids, when they ask why we live in two places, because grown-ups made choices, and this is how we keep your world steady. It has me writing, "Biff," on a sticky note near my computer so I can practice the tone that won't make their father brace every time he sees my name. He won. Not in a way you can post. He won by making the only conversations we have the ones where someone needs cleats or cough syrup, because those are the only ones that won't set a match to our kids' sense of safety. He won by refusing to stand alone in a room with me and let history do its old tricks. He won by turning our mess into checklists and calendars so our kids' lives don't have to bend around two people's history. He talks to me in 7-minute slices. I used to think that was punishment. It's mercy. It keeps the love that still exists in the right shape, the kind bent toward the two people who didn't ask to be proof that we once tried.